Turning now to the business news with Nona Peltier. AMP selling most of its New Zealand operations as it does a bit of a revamp. Why is it doing it?
Well, there's a lot of reasons, I suppose. One of them is there's a trend over in Australia for banks and other types of financial services companies to streamline their operations, and a lot of concern ahead of what regulations might be imposed following the Australian Royal Commission there. Now, so some companies, AMP is probably one of the worst that has come out from the inquiry there. I mean, they admitted to providing services to customers that customers never got, so they charged them for them, but they never delivered them, and then lied to the regulators about that. So their brand has certainly been tarnished by that commission, and regulations are likely to be imposed. So getting ahead of this is one way that some market analysts are seeing this as a reason why the AMP would act now ahead of any kind of change. And, you know, I suppose this is the sort of thing they decided they were going to review this at the beginning of the year. I spoke with the local managing director of AMP New Zealand. He's going to stay on for the duration, and they're going to also be listing their wealth management business here in New Zealand later next year, about the second half.
So what does it mean in practical terms? In New Zealand, are they just going to be here in name only, really?
I think the brand will be here, will be owned by a British-based company that has other brands that are known to New Zealanders like AXA, is an example of the other ones they own. A few others, including Bupa.
Bupa. Yeah, Bupa. Yeah, gotcha.
I don't have that insurance policy there. And Royal and Sun Alliance. So Bupa, Bupa, you know who I'm talking about.
All the Bs there.
All the Bs, that's right. So they are known to New Zealand, and there's no reason why they wouldn't be able to manage the AMP brand just as well as the others.
Yeah. Hey, it was a bit rock and roll on the markets today as well.
It sure was. It definitely was. And we saw that overnight. So it started really, we saw Asia nervous. Yesterday we saw that Asia was nervous. Then London opened and more nerves. And then by the time New York opened, the NASDAQ finished up the day more than 4%. That is a correction for sure in the market. A correction is generally thought of as where a market falls 10% below its high. And that basically wiped out all the gains that Wall Street saw this year. And when New Zealand opened, it opened really weak. We were down 1.8% at one point earlier in the day, but we finished up much better. And that's in comparison to Australia, which was down more than 2%, also in correction territory there. And Asia's looking pretty nervous. And part of that reason is that the company reporting season in the United States has failed to meet expectations. Now, you top that on top of everything else with the Saudi Arabia issues, the Italian budget, the pre-Brexit talks, and of course the underlying trade concerns, which have really caused jitters throughout Asia, particularly around the Chinese share market and how those companies are performing. So overall, not a very nice picture. Do we expect the volatility to continue? Did I say hostility? Might be the same thing. Yes. I think we can probably expect to see that for a while.
Give us the numbers on the New Zealand dollar before you head out the door.
Okay, so our top 50 index, it was down nearly 0.9%. That's 74 points to 8,568. NZ dollar 65.2. That's steady at 92.1 Australian and 50.6 pence.
Thanks, Nona. Appreciate it.